Hey, this is Barry. Welcome to the channel. I'm a retired electrician after 40 years, and I took up quilting as a hobby, and I'm trying to document my journey from the beginning all the way up till who knows. Just keep on watching, and I'll keep trying to put content out. But things that I thought was the only way to do it 6 months ago, 7 months ago when I started have changed, and I'm sure that what I do now may change in the future. For example, I'm going to give you a little example. I've got the Panasonic cordless iron, but I've switched back to my original Alessio Mini for doing my piecing work, and I'll tell you why. Because I got this Husky desk. If you followed me at any length of time, you know that I really like these Husky desks from Home Depot. I bought them, you know, they raise up and down, but also right in the middle they've got a magnetic, or they've got a metal center. And I went down to Harbor Freight and bought a magnetic power strip, and I've got it right underneath here, and so I can flip a switch, turn my iron on, or just flip a switch and it's off. So I like that fact. Another fact is, you know, I've got this little hot plate, which with the Panasonic cordless, you got to constantly be putting it in a cradle. With this one, I can leave it right here on my mat with the little silicone, and I can be piecing here, and I have this iron right here hot, ready to go. So I still love my little Panasonic, and I'll use it for maybe when I'm doing my big quilts or pressing it out. But for piecing, I'm switching right now. At least right now I'm switching back to my little Alessio Mini. I just find it convenient, and I love the fact that I can just sit right here and turn it on and off. Another thing that I did is my pressing mat. I did have, you know, the one thing bad about these tables is heat. They don't do very good with heat, and you don't want to press anything against them because it could warp the tables. I've seen people tell me that. So what I had before was a cheap pressing mat. I bought ironing mat. I bought Walmart, and then I bought a wool mat that I sit on top of it. That just got to be a pain, you know? So what I went out and bought was a cutting board. I bought this cutting board, and I bought these little feet, and I screwed these little feet in so that now this is a 18 by 12 cutting board, and then I bought a 18 by 12 wool mat, and it fits so nice right there. Like I said, it allows me to keep my iron right here, and I can piece and iron, and everything is compact right here, and I'm really enjoying. So far, this is my new setup. Bought a little container down at Home Dollar General to keep all my clips in, and yeah, so I got easy access to that now instead of having them spread out all over the place. But the big thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and let me sit this down here for a second. When I first started quilting, I didn't have, I thought the only quilts were 9 patches and wedding rings, pretty much. And you know, my eyes have been wide opened, and I'm sure they're going to get even opened wider to all the different variations of quilts. But I was always saying to myself, I'm going to stay traditional and try to do traditional quilts as long as I can. And I saw this thing, and I'm going to bring it up here, called AccuQuilt. And I tell you what, I was really opposed to it because I was like, well, that's sort of cheating, I thought. In my mind, you know, cutting fabric with this machine was sort of cheating. I really resisted it. I've been resisting it for months. But I'll tell you what changed. I got to really thinking about it, and I was like, what's different between this and buying a fat quarter or a layer cake or even a jelly roll. That's pre-cut fabrics. You didn't even do it. Yeah, I mean, at least with this, you're cutting the fabrics, but with jelly rolls, you know, here it is. It's already cut 2.5 inches. So I slowly started changing my mind, especially when I love to do the sashing, the 2.5 inch sashings, and with me with a rotary cutter trying to cut 2.5 inch sashings, sometimes they go like this. You know, if you've cut them, you know what I mean. But with this cutter, this cuts perfect 2.5. Now I got this on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, I'd say this thing was almost brand new for 50 bucks with some templates. And then I went out and bought, hold on, I bought this strip cutter. I think it was a little, with the mat, it was a little over $100. There again, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. And so I want to show you that, you know, a lot of people have complained about waste. So I'm going to show you, if you cut this right, there's really not a lot of waste. So you put your fabric on this little mat, and I'm sorry if you guys already know this, but this stuff is sort of new to me. But I like they're saying, you know, less time cutting and more time sewing. I think that's, I don't know, that's their motto. Now this is real time here. Let's see how we did. They say rub it. All right. Here is my waist, just a fraction of a little strip. And trust me, the way I cut, that's not much waste at all. So then you're left with these really nice 2.5 inch strips. These are perfect for me for sashing because they finish at 2 inches. Or even better yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it for binding. And they're, like I said, they're perfectly cut. They're ready to go. And all you got to do is sew. And so I put a survey on my channel, and it was like 60% liked the AccuQuilt, 20% said they would rather just rotary cut, and 20% had no opinion, basically. So for the 60% that like AccuQuilt and the 20% that have no opinion, I'm with you. Now the 20% that would rather rotary cut, especially if you're older and you have arthritis, they have an electric version of this. So you just put your fabric on and you just slide it through. So there's not a lot of pressure on your hands, at least less, because you're letting this do the work. But what changed me was I want to do, one of my next quilts is what do I got there? Sunbonnet Sue. And this is an Eleanor Burns book. And I've always been fascinated by the Sunbonnet Sue. And I was like, the good thing I like is it's got different templates in here that you could trace out. So I bought that, and after I do my Dresden quilt, this was my next quilt. Well, cutting all those little pieces is a little tedious, and I found out that AccuQuilt has a die. They have a die for Sunbonnet Sue and Overall Sam. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend all the time cutting those little pieces out. I'd rather just be sewing them together, and I don't know if I got them. But I don't know where they're at. But I've been cutting out old pair. Hey, how you doing? I've been cutting out old pairs of jeans, and I'm going to make a overall Sam with denim jeans and sunbonnet Sue with different fabric for the head. So that's my next quilt that I'm working on. But before I jump ahead, I want you to notice that my Dresden blocks here, and I've been starting to work on my Dresden quilt, and I'm telling you, you'll learn a lot. Let me catch my breath. I almost have all these Dresdens made, and I was going to start piecing it together. And by the way, I started piecing it with my AccuQuilt, and those pieces are perfect. The problem was, here's a lesson for you, is when you go to do a quilt, unless it's a scrappy quilt or you don't care, not all white is white. So I must have picked up these whites from a different place from where I picked up my other whites, or they might be a poly cotton blend. But after I started laying all my squares out, I noticed that 3 of them were a different color, and I was like, well, I can't do that in a quilt. I'm not going to put all of them a white and then have 3 mismatched ones. So I made this. I don't know if it's going to be a table runner or what, but it might be just a throw on the back of a couch. But I've thought about putting this purple around as a binding, and then the purple on the back, and then quilt it. I'm thinking about even doing ruler work on this one. So that's just an update on that. So yeah, my advice to myself, if I had to do it over again, make sure that when you start your quilts, try to buy all your fabric at one time in one place, or at least know where you got it and what number. You know, if you go on the end of a bolt, I take a photo of all the ends of the bolts so that I know exactly what fabric that is. And they tell me, I haven't had this experience yet, but sometimes even when you get the same number, that one bolt could be a little different than another. So try to figure out how much material you need and get it all at one time, or at least get it all at one time of one color or one shape or one design, so that you're not left with what I did, is having to create another which actually turned out to be okay, because like I said, I'll put this on the back of the couch, or I'll give it away, whatever. But anyways, there's an update. I appreciate you guys. For those of you that are new here, we have what we call the Memory Makers Button Club. You can still see the buttons down there, and all we do is save close buttons, and you can join the club by sending a close button and tell me your favorite memory that you have in the past, or your favorite goal, and we add you to the club. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I've gotten quite a few buttons in this week, so the next video should be a button video if you care. But I'm really happy about that, and go out and make some memories, because memories after health, but before wealth, is memories, and memories are what's most important. So I'll see you later. Bye.